back to my YouTube channel.
Why are you saying guys as if you have a big audience?
Listen, I'm just trying to make a video about the humerus bone.
Humorous bone? What's funny about a bone?
Listen here, smarty pants. Your humerus is your upper arm bones between your scapula and your elbow.
Ugh, that's literally so boring. Aren't bones just like solid blocks of calcium and phosphate?
I mean, kind of, but there's more to it. Hold on, let me read from my notes. Bones are made of active living cells that constantly grow, repair, and communicate with other parts of the body. If you would just shut up and listen, you would learn.
You do not have to be so rude.
Alright, Miss Supervisor Lady, I am not the rude one. Alright, anyways, here's my bone model. It took me hours to make.
Ha ha. That is not a bone. That's literally a paper towel roll.
You're my supervisor. You, out of all people, should know that we're on a budget.
Does that explain the poorly drawn bones on your hands?
Yes, I needed an effective way to study the bones in my hands. Anyways, I'm super sorry about that, YouTube. Somebody was distracted.
Hey yo, that wasn't me. She's
I'm
lying.
going to be describing the different materials that I used in my bone model so that a special somebody does not clown me.
You're already a clown.
First, here in this area, I have my diaphysis. And the diaphysis is between the head of each bone and is in the main shaft. The diaphysis is the main area for making new bone called ossification. And here on the sides, I have these little socks because it just kind of keeps everything together, and I thought that it was kind of cool, even though it's a little gross. Right here on the sides, we have the epiphysis, which is out of sock to keep it together, pull it together visually, and to actually pull it together. So here in the epiphysis, and the epiphysis is at the end of a long bone, and each end is also filled with red bone marrow, where red blood cells are made, and the surface of the epiphysis is covered with smooth hyaline cartilage. You can't really see it, but just pretend it's there since we were limited on supplies, since we are on a budget. You can't really see it, but around this area, this general area, is the periosteum, which is a thin layer of connective tissue that covers the outside bones. The periosteum is similar to the inner lining of the cavity found in long bones called the endostome. I'm going to get back to the endostome later. Located in this general area in the peristome, we have the perforating Sharpey's fibers, and they're a matrix of connective tissue consisting of bundles of strong collagen fibers connecting the peristome to bone. Okay guys, let's saw it open.
And we're gonna cut our bone open.
We are really up close. So first off, inside of the bone, we have our spongy bone, which is this area right here. The spongy bone is less dense, and it is found at the end of long bones and in parts of the backbone. It contains a large number of blood vessels and red bone marrow where blood cells are made. Spongy bone, we have compact bone. This is super zoomed in. And we also have compact bone around the endosome, but we're not there yet. So here in our compact bone, it has the duty of supporting the body, and they help protect our organs such as the rib cage, and they provide attachment points for muscles and tendons, and it's used for movement. Alright, to look further into the compact bone, I have my handy dandy magnifying glass.
You aren't gonna see any real cells with that magnifying glass. We should have invested in buying a real microscope instead of that ugly thing.
Excuse me for 1 second, YouTube. Microscopes are expensive. Did you forget about the budget? This magnifying glass was $5 at Target, and plus it's pretty cool. I don't need a microscope to see paper model cells. Let's take a deeper look. Zoom in even closer. So here we have osteons. All of this is an osteon. It's labeled in these little layers is the lamella, and they are thin layers of membranes or plate tissue in the bone, and it provides protection and strength. So in this area, we have the lacunae, and the lacunae is a small space containing an osteocyte in the bone. The lacunae are linked together by minute channels called the canaliculi. Here's the canalicunae, here's some examples of it. And it's a small channel that supplies nutrients through blood vessels. They also remove cellular waste and provide communication between osteocytes. It's just an overall view of it while I explain osteoclasts and osteoclasts. So in the inner osteogenic layer, we have osteoclasts, which are bone-destroying cells. They come from the bone marrow and are related to white blood cells, and they are formed from two or more cells that fuse together. So the osteoclasts usually have more than one nucleus. Osteoblasts, on the other hand, are cells that form new bones. They also come from the bone marrow and are related to structural cells. They only have one nucleus. Alright guys, let's zoom out of this compact bone. And we are back. Bit of a reveal inside. So you may be wondering, what is this in the middle? This red area over here that is around the endostem.
Is the osteon.
And let's zoom in a bit. Kind of a close-up of an osteon. And the osteon is a basic building unit of bone, and they have a cylindrical straw-like shape, as this right here is seen. This is made out of an index card because I just thought it would be nice for it to stand up on its own. And right here I have the blood vessels. On the left we have the vein, and on the right we have the artery. And I chose to do toothpicks because they stand up on their own. Alright, so these osteons have haversian canals, which are around in there. And they are narrowly, centrally located channels, and these canals have 1 or 2 capillaries and nerve fibers. Here we are going to move into this little area right here. So over here is the endostem, and it covers the inside of bones and surrounds the medullary cavity, which is this area right here. And it is a thin layer of connective tissue, and it's similar to the outer layer of some bones. Let's zoom into the medullary cavity. Zoomed up, this area right here represents the endostem. And the yellow stuff in here is yellow bone marrow, which is made out of cut up sponge. And it is mainly made of fat cells, and it's located inside the cavity of the middle part of long bones. And it also aids in the storage of fats and adipocytes. If we empty all of this out, let's just empty all of the yellow marrow. Oops. Okay, pretend it's not in there. We have the medullary cavity, which is found in the center of long bones, and it is where marrow is held and why it is also known as the marrow cavity. Great, let's glue this back together. It's glued back together. Isn't that awesome? Lastly, I'm gonna be seeing how my bone responds to a few demos. So first I'm gonna test compression. It's not really doing anything except this side is kind of like opening. And for distraction, I'm gonna pull it apart. Doesn't really do anything, but if I were to pull on this socks right here, it would come apart. And for the last one, it's torsion or shearing. It doesn't really do anything except just twist it and then it just goes back. So yeah, this was my long bone presentation.
That was the lamest presentation I have ever seen. The content was good though, I guess.
Okay, supervisor, let's not argue. The video's done already. Sorry about that, YouTube. Thank you guys so much for watching my YouTube channel on the humorous long bone in depth. Please leave a like and subscribe and leave some nice comments for me, please. Thank you.
This video is made by Scarlett O'Rourke, I hope you can tell. Yeah.